Hey everybody, we're back on Forza Multiplayer, and for this week we're going to take a little bit of a look at pit strategy for the races that are long enough to do so. We tend to default to a medium, but today we're going to actually experiment with a couple different ones, hard versus medium to soft. Now a couple things to keep in mind before we jump into these two races. We're just running the stock tune on the number 93 Viper, nothing special there. Both of these races are on Yas Marina in the evening, no weather to be had. Also, we didn't qualify, so we're starting in P14 in one and P18 in the other, so kinda in the middle of the pack, and then beyond that, there's just gonna be a lot of variables that aren't in our control. Sometimes incidents happen, and on any given day, skill levels change. But anyways, let's get into it. This first race is going to be the medium to soft strategy, so we are going to go into the pits, and like I said, for this one, we're going to start in P14. And immediately right at the start, we're going to get a good run on the BMW here. We're going to look to their inside going to turn 1, but we're also going to be thinking about trying to be careful as it is Forza and turn 1 tends to be really chaotic. In fact, we're going to have a Viper spin right in front of us. We have to hit the brake to kind of get around. We have a little bit of contact behind us as we do so, but as we go into turn 2, I'm actually going to kind of turn into somebody. I was holding a narrow line, I didn't expect anyone to be there, and I had 2 proximity arrows, so it was a 50-50 chance, right? Either way, we do get control of the car pretty quick. It puts us down into P19 for now, but we are going to get the positions back rather quickly. We have the BMW spin out later in the lap on the chicane, and even further, we're going to have, I guess it's Joker EU, end up going really wide through the long turn 9, and we're going to swoop up underneath to get that position back up into P17. Going into the next lap, things are going to get a bit more interesting as we've caught back up with the pack. Going through turns 3 and 4, we're going to have looks all around DSD, trying to find a way around before we get up to the hairpin that's turn 5, but we are going to go ahead and take the inside line, brake a little bit late, and just park it right on the apex to get the pass. So we'll be back up into P16, up behind this V8 supercar in Mercedes, and we'll see a little bit of the weakness of the Viper on this track as we go down this straight. Even in the tow, we're just not able to keep up with these guys. Part of the issue here might simply be because we're running the stock tune on the Viper. Probably could be a lot faster depending on how you change the arrow and stuff like that. As we come into the chicane, it will show its strength though. It does have a handling advantage it seems through here, and the car's just really stable. I've noticed with this one, even when I'm really hard on the throttle, it does stay pretty planted, which is nice. It does put us on another long straight though, and DSD is going to be right behind us, so we have to go defensive. I don't want him to be able to get the inside as we go into the long turn 9. As we go in though, he's going to go into the inside line as we go a little bit deep through the middle part of the corner, tapping us a little bit on the inside to throw us just a little wider, but not really bad at all, and he backs off. There will be one car off to the right, so we get a position up into P15. Going through turns 10 and 11, we see the V8 supercar and the Mercedes battling a little bit, but the Mercedes on turn 12 is going to hit this curve a little bit.
Oh yeah, I hate that curve, I understand.
I definitely try to avoid that curve at all costs right now. It just seems to really unsettle the car, but as we go through turns 13 and 14, we are going to get a bit of a run on the Mercedes. We're going to look to their inside as we come on the exit. Here on turn 15 though, we're going to back off a little bit as I felt like if we went side by side we'd get thrown wide, but there's going to be a big accident up here, and there's going to be a green Porsche that just cleans house.
Oh my goodness.
That'll give us a few freebies up into P12 and a 4.5 second collision penalty for Baked Bean, but as we continue the race, we're going to be behind Einswin for a while, and I just really was having a good race with this guy. As we come out of turns 3 and 4 on the 4th lap here, we're going to look to make a similar move on Einswin as we did on DSD earlier, looking to the inside for this hairpin, but they're going to end up braking pretty late too and holding a nice outside line, and on the acceleration out, we are going to have made the pass. But once again, coming down this straight with the Viper just not having the same top speed and Einswin behind us having the tow, we're going to look behind and they're just going to be closing the gap pretty solidly as we come up towards the chicane. I'm going to go defensive and try to make them take the outside, but they really get on by us here, so we hold a really narrow line on the first part of the chicane. They do end up falling back behind us, but yep, once again, we're going to end up on the second straight and it's going to be a similar issue. I'll be holding myself as narrow as I can down this stint, but they are going to manage to come up behind us before turn 9. And due to just holding such a narrow line, it does push me a little bit deep in the middle of the corner, and they're going to be able to sweep up underneath. I just kind of have to give them the space.
To give you a little space. Good move. Good move. Dang, good racing with this guy.
Yeah, I was definitely having a lot of fun there, so thank you Einswin for the really good race while it lasted. This will be where things start to get a little interesting strategy-wise though. We're coming into the end of the lap 4, the typical time for the medium strat to pit. In fact, on this lap, there's actually going to be a lot of chaos going into the pits, so we avoid that.
All kinds of madness there.
For the medium to soft strategy though, we're going to have to stay out one more lap. One benefit will be getting out of the crowd a little bit, but we'll see that towards the end of this lap, the tires are definitely going to be pretty worn, so we'll be losing time there. As we do go into the pit though, we're going to see why pit strategy here is an interesting thing at Yas Marina, because this pit lane is just really long. In fact, because it's so long, I'm going to end up fast forwarding right through this as we select the soft tires and not to refuel. I did time it though, and it ends up taking about 49.5 seconds on this track from pit entry to pit exit. Definitely one of the highest in the game so far. It gives so much time for cars behind you to end up catching back up, and as we come on the exit, there is going to be this group that ends up passing us, now several positions behind Einswin, as the wear from the mediums on the last lap ended up losing us a decent amount of time. We do have the softs on now though, and that should make us quicker, but the issue is just going to be the fact that we are now behind traffic. And we're going to be behind them for a little while, in fact losing some ground with the stock tuned Viper on those two straights, but the soft tires are going to start to show their advantage as we go through the long turn 9. We catch right back up with the guys in front of us. In fact, we go pretty easy on the inside of Bruce there, and we start to look to the inside of Mo Xbit immediately as we go through turns 10 and 11. The move definitely isn't going to be on those. We go into this awkward braking zone, but going through turns 12, 13, and 14, we're going to be all over the back of them. We definitely would have the speed going through here, but we have to try to make the overtake cleanly. We do have a bit of a look on what would be the outside going into turn 15 here, but we're going to have Bruce kind of come back into play.
Ooh, okay, hello.
He's going to kind of use me in turn 15 and use Mo in the next turn as a little bit of maybe a bumper guard just to kind of get through there quickly. He's going to give us a nice little sorry on the exit, but Mo and I definitely lost a little bit of speed there. In fact, I'm going to have a little bit of a run on the outside going into the first turn, but he's going to hold a really narrow line, but we do have those soft tires on, remember, so we're going to go right around the outside, struggling to keep control on the carpet there. Puts us up into P10 for the time being, and it'll be a minute, but we'll get another shot at Bruce here as we come around turn 9. Between the two cars ahead of us, they do also have some penalties, so at this exact moment we would have P8 if we just were to cross the line now. Going into turn 12 though, Blackblade's going to end up going pretty wide off track. It's going to give Bruce a pretty easy pass on the inside, and Blackblade's going to hold the exit really narrow, so we have to hit the brake kind of hard and lose a little bit of momentum there. We're going to stay right on the back of him though through turns 13 and 14. We're definitely hoping to also be able to get past Blackblade pretty quickly, because I do believe at this point that Bruce was quicker. So the longer we're back here, we may be held back, and going into the final turn of the lap, we are actually going to make a little bit of contact on the back of Blackblade as we're able to just carry so much more speed through the turns with the soft tires. Going into lap 8 though, we're actually going to have a really good battle here with Blackblade as we have a bit of a competition between better handling and better speed. Going in turn 1, we have a bit of a look on the inside on the exit, but I don't want to end up causing a crash on turn 2. They actually leave us a bit of space on the inside there, and with the soft tires, we're going to go ahead and take the outside line on turn 3, definitely able to make the pass here. As we come down towards the hairpin though, we're just going to see the speed of this Ferrari. They're going to blow right by us on the entry, but we do have the softs on, so we're able to hold the outside line once again and actually make the pass on the exit. But once again, on this long straight, it's going to be a similar story, especially with that speed of that Ferrari. They're just going to blow right by us. We're just not able to compete with that in this moment. In fact, they're going to gain so much ground on us between the next two straightaways that it's not until turns 13 and 14 that we actually get a chance to catch back up again, and right here, it's at the end of the lap. In this moment, I know that Bruce up there has a 2.5 penalty. I'm hoping maybe just in these last couple turns I can sneak by Blackblade. They do have a 4.5 second penalty, so we do at least have P9, but they really cover us off on the entry to the main straight. So we won't be able to get close enough to Bruce ahead to get that position on penalties, but we will at least get P9 based on those from Blackblade. So after an incident early, we do manage at least a net gain of 5 positions with the medium soft strategy. There are definitely some other drivers here that performed better. I do believe we were the only one in that race to try the medium to soft, but in this next one we're actually going to try the hards, and we're just going to attempt to stay out for the entire race. We're going to start in P18 on this one, so a little further back in the field, but immediately we're going to have a ghosted car in front of us, and we're just going to get a really good launch, putting us up in a P14 before the first turn. As we come into this first turn though, things are going to get quite hectic. We're not going to be able to see through a bunch of smoke that just comes up in front of us.
Oh gosh. Oh no. Oh no.
Similar to the last race though, after the first couple turns we're going to be put down into P19. However, on this one I guess we'll get one position back with one car spinning there, but I guess it actually makes it a pretty decent test. We basically essentially started in P19 for both races. Things are going to continue to be a little bit rougher for us though on the start of this one. We're going to lose P18 again coming into the hairpin, trying to hold a narrow line, lots of traffic ahead of us, and we're going to run into that issue with the Viper on this straight again. We're just not going to be able to keep up with the speed of the others in this stock tune. In
fact, by the time we get to the end of it, we're going to end up in P20, but as we come through the chicane, there's going to be a whole mass of cars. A few cars spun out, everybody's kind of hitting each other, and on the exit of this chicane, we're going to kind of come out in P18, so get a couple positions back there. We're looking on the inside of the V8 supercar a little bit, but this is yet another straight here, so we're going to lose some more ground to those ahead of us. Fortunately this time, we're at least not going to get past on this long straightaway, and as we come into turn 9, we're actually going to be able to swoop underneath a lot of cars here. We're going to go from P18 to slowly coming around, and we'll come out of this turn in P13, so that was a lot of fun. As we go through the next section, the Viper is going to show its handling prowess even in the hards, and we're going to settle into that P13. Before the end of the lap, we will catch up to a battle for P10 though. They're definitely going at it ahead of us, and as we come into the final turn of the lap, we're going to attempt to have a bit of a look, but there's not a lot there. We do see also there's a green Audi ahead that looks like they got slowed down and went off pretty significantly. We do have the inside for this Corvette as we come into the first turn of the next lap, and we are going to end up being able to take this position nicely, putting us up into P12 for now behind Lion. From here, we're actually going to have a really good race with them for a little while. We will find it a bit difficult though as we come around to really be able to make an overtake on the hards like we did on the softs on the other race. As we come down towards the hairpin though, they are actually going to brake really early, so we're going to be able to send it right up the inside, getting that position up into P11. The two Audis up front definitely within our sights now, but Lion's not going to go away. He's going to stay pretty close behind us on the exit of that turn, and once again, just on this straight, we're just not going to have that speed, so we're going to lose the position to them as they just go flying right by. Really wishing I hadn't decided to use the stock tune at this point, to be honest. But we can't do anything about it now, and the Viper does have really good handling, so we'll do the best we can with what we have. As we go through the chicane, the green Audi ahead's definitely going to have missed their mark and go way off track, and they're going to end up being ghosted, so we're going to get a free position up into P11 here, still right up behind Lion. We'll stay behind him for a little bit, but as we come up into turn 12, we're going to have a bit of a moment. Oh no. That was a hard break. Ooh, that was close. Oh man, I'm so glad I didn't hit him right there. Yeah, that would have been a catastrophic end to our race, but a little later on, we're going to have more chances. They go pretty wide through turn 3, so we're going to end up catching up once again before we get up to the hairpin. And similar to before, they're going to brake really early, so we're going to be able to send it up the inside. And finally, for the first time making this move on the hard tires and stock tune Viper, it's actually going to stick. We're going to be able to keep P9 throughout the whole lap. Things will get a little crazy with the cars ahead of us, though, at the end of this lap. Oh gosh. Whoa, squeeze on by. Yeah, big moment for the two of them as they hit one of the death curbs of the track. That'll put us up into P7 for the time being, and not a whole lot happened on lap 4, but this is where things are going to be interesting as far as strategy goes. This is when everyone else is going to start pitting, but we're going to do everything we can to stay out. So right at the beginning of lap 5, we're going to get 3 passes, people going into the pits up into P4, and we will get one more pass through the lap as someone paused the game, but now as we come around to start lap 6, we're going to get 2 more passes on people in the pits. So it's looking really good so far. We have Lucas up front, who is also using the same strategy and started on pole, so we're not going to be able to get the pass on them. Oh no. It's going to be hard. We already got one tire going. We got 2 laps left. But yep, that's going to be the downside to this strategy. As we continue to go through the race, it's going to get more and more difficult. We're going to see all the tires are pretty worn out by the time we're on lap 7, and the guy behind us is only about 14 seconds behind, and we have about a lap and a half to go. We will end up making it to the end though, just barely. All the tires are pretty much completely gone at this point, but at least we were able to hold the gap, finishing the race with Wolf only about 6 seconds behind instead of 14. So we'll finish in P2 here, gaining 16 positions in the race, so a really good showing. However, I have to say it was a really lonely race after lap 4. There just was no one around us. We were kind of hot lapping as our tires just slowly decayed. As far as answering the question though on whether hards or mediums to soft are better, it's really going to come down to what you want. Do you want to have the best position, which the hards will give you, or are you kind of just looking for more fun? Do you want to race around other drivers more of the time while you're on the track? For Yas Marina and the GT cars with this long of a race, I would definitely recommend the hards if you're going after that skill rating though. You just spend so much extra time in the pit lane here. As we come to a close though, this is something I kind of found fun to do. Would be interested in trying some other strategies on different tracks with different cars. If there's anything you're interested in particular, let me know in the comments. For now though, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We hope to put out more soon, but until then, we'll see you next time.